All right, looks like we're finally live. Having some issues here with the camera, but I wanted to go on this first ever live here on the Mike Nelson show. I want to thank everybody who's already, of course, subscribed to the channel. But today I wanted to come on and talk about a pretty big story that's happening, of course, right now. It looks like Gregg Berhalter has been fired as a U.S. men's national team head coach for, of course, soccer, of course, after the terrible Copa America where the team didn't even make it out of the group stage. Pretty crazy stat was they were the first team to not make it out. First host nation team to not make it out of the group stage. Basically, ever in the Copa America, the first host nation to never, to not make it out of the group. Pretty crazy. I don't think anybody expected that, but it goes back, of course, to the team really struggling in these big tournaments, and I think that's part of the reason why Gregg Berhalter was fired because he just basically never was able to get the team to play well against quality opponents. It goes back to the 2022 World Cup where the team lost, of course, in the knockout stage, and lost to the Netherlands, a team that you could say was not as good as the United States, and that was a big moment there when the team lost that knockout game. So going back to why Greg Berhalter was fired, I think it just has to do because the team wants to try to win the World Cup. That's kind of the whole point of the 2026 World Cup. They're going to be hosting the World Cup for the first time in, what is it, over 30 years? The last time was the team hosted the World Cup was back in 1994. The last time the United States hosted the World Cup. So it's going to be 32 years later in 2026 when basically this happens. And the United States is not in a good position right now with Greg Berhalter. I mean, that's honestly the truth. I mean, really, before Greg Berhalter came to the United States, what did he really do? Like he just doesn't have much on his resume. And I think when he was hired, a lot of people were even shocked that he was hired. And yeah, I mean that's where the United States is at, and now they have to go search for a coach again. And that's going to be a challenge. That's going to be a big challenge because, as we know, the United States has had trouble, looking for coaches in the past, and that's going to be a big issue. I just want to make sure that I am actually live and that I can hear myself because I know it was kind of a challenge for me to go live today. So I want to make sure that I am actually live and that I can hear myself. Yeah, so it looks like I am live. So that's good. Yeah, it's just like YouTube is just so crazy with the way they do things. Especially if you have like OBS set up on your like laptop and everything, it's like really hard to get out of it. But anyway, I am live around the world. I want to thank everybody who's already tuned in. And for those of you that are going to later watch this replay, make sure to like this video and make sure to comment for the algorithm. I want to thank everybody around the world who has subscribed to the channel, close to 1,000 subscribers. So I want to thank everybody who's already done that. But anyway, going back to what we're talking about today, Greg Berhalter fired as U.S. men's national team head coach. Breaking news like a little over an hour ago. I was actually listening to the radio when I found out, which is pretty crazy. I was listening to AM 570, my favorite radio station to listen to here in LA, the Petros, the Money Show. Actually, today Petros wasn't on the show. It was actually Bill Plaschke. But anyway, listening on the radio when this story came out, and yeah, pretty shocking. I was talking to a friend of mine. What was it, last week when the United yeah, it was last week when the United States got knocked out against Uruguay in the group stage. I was like, yeah, I think Greg's time is up. My friend disagreed with me. He just said, no, I don't think so. I mean, who's the U.S. going to find? But I mean, here we are. United States has decided to move on from Greg Berhalter, and now what? I mean, I really think the best option for them at this point, to be honest with you, has got to be Landon Donovan. I think Landon Donovan would be a great option. I know that's crazy to say because he doesn't have a lot of coaching experience, but just him, just bringing in a big name like Landon Donovan would, I think, really reignite interest in the U.S. soccer program. I really think so. I mean, he's arguably the greatest American soccer player of all time. I know that's kind of hard to say, but he is. I mean, think about it. I mean, Landon Donovan's career accomplishments are next to none when it comes to other American soccer players. So for him to maybe get a shot to coach the team would be I think a big deal. I mean, even just bringing him in the program, they don't want to make him head coach just yet. Um, just bringing him in would be, I think it would be a good idea. But anyway, the big name, of course, that everybody out there is already saying the United States is thinking of hiring is Jurgen Klopp, right? Former Liverpool coach, of course, decided to leave Liverpool at the end of last season. So everybody's already kind of saying, yeah, it's going to be Klopp and all this. And I don't know. I don't know if he's going to take the job. I mean, there was that cryptic post that he had on July 4th where he said, it's a good day to remember, like July 4th. There was something like that. It was some funny post like that where he was like reminiscing about his time in the United States. And I believe he put some pictures up. So there is that cryptic post that maybe Jurgen is thinking about coaching the U.S. team. Wouldn't that be crazy? A second Jurgen. Of course, Jurgen Klinsmann coached the team before that, another German. It'd be the second German to coach this team. I got a chance to actually meet Jurgen Klinsmann at a soccer tournament. Was it almost like 10 years ago, or even I think a little over 10 years ago? I got a chance to meet him. He was still coaching the team, and he was just a great guy. Yeah, Klinsmann was just an awesome dude to hang out with and to meet. So yeah, Jurgen Klopp. I don't know how to say Klopp, Club, whatever. Um, that's the big name I think everybody is kind of leaning towards with him not having a job right now. And yeah, I mean, I think that would be an interesting hire. He has no idea or no experience at all in the U.S. soccer market. I mean, this guy has been in Europe his whole life, so I don't know how that will fit. And knowing the United States has a lot of players playing overseas, I mean, I think maybe that's why you have the appeal of maybe having Jurgen Klopp being that head coach. But at the end of the day, I mean, this is the U.S. men's national team. And I think you would try to get maybe an American coach that would be I just think Landon Don would be the best fit. Like I've mentioned earlier here on this live reaction, I want to thank everybody's already joined on. If you're watching this later on the replay, make sure to like, comment for the algorithm. That's very important here on YouTube. And yeah, I'm gonna probably start doing more of these live reaction videos, especially for like big stories like this one in the sports or music world. Yeah, just gonna start incorporating more sports here on the Mike Nelson Show. I know I've kind of kicked off this channel doing a lot of like rock and metal stuff, but I'm gonna start doing some more lives on just about anything or do interviews on just about anything. So yeah, today started out the first ever Mike Nelson Show live stream on the Gregg Berhalter firing. So yeah, of course, it's not the first time I've ever gone live. You got to remember I've been on the radio for quite a while, so if you tune into my radio shows, those are all 100% live. But anyway, Berhalter, being canned today by the U.S. Soccer Federation, it just I don't know. I'm just really it's kind of laughable to think about the whole U.S. soccer, you know, program. It's really a joke, to be honest. The way it's been handled the last few years. I mean, after that horrible World Cup they had in 2022, for them not to move on from Berhalter doesn't make much sense to me at all. So they've moved on from what is it, 2 years late now in 2024. So yeah, now they're gonna have to, I guess, find somebody. But anyway, like I mentioned, Jurgen Klopp it looks like that's the name that is being thrown around out there. I would personally go for Landon Donovan. That's just me. That's what I would go for. But I wanted to pull up an article that I read earlier today, um, with other potential names. Another big name that I'm pulling up here from goal.com, which is a great resource for football or soccer news, depending on how you call it. Steve Cherundolo is another name out there that the United States could potentially hire. Of course, Cherundolo is the current LAFC head coach, and he's done a great job with LAFC, winning the MLS Cup in his first year as a coach and then taking them to the final last year, doing a great job with them this year. Thierry Henry, I don't expect that one to happen. I believe they already reached out to him before, and he declined the offer. So Wilfred Nancy with Columbus Crew, that's another name that's being thrown out there. Of course, Nancy took the Columbus Crew to the CONCACAF Champions Cup final this year. In a loss to Pachuca, played terrible in the final in Mexico. And then last year, of course, Columbus Crew won the MLS Cup against the LAFC. So Nancy has done a great job, but I mean, does he really have the resume to coach a men's national soccer team? Does he really have the resume to coach, a team in a World Cup? That's what I don't know if he does. I mean, Cherundolo, I have a little more confidence in because the guy, of course, played for the U.S. national team. Even if it was briefly, he did play for the team, so he has that. He has that in his resume. But other than that, I mean, there isn't. I mean, what else we got? There's just the other names I see here in this article from Goal.com. I really don't. I mean, Marcelo Gallardo would be interesting. Of course, former coach of River Plate, currently right now in Saudi Arabia. That would be an interesting name for sure. I mean, that is an amazing coach. When he took over for River, the team was pretty bad. So I honestly think, yeah, I would go with Gallardo. I would go with Jurgen Klopp, or I would go with Landon Donovan, who's not on that list. Doesn't have much experience, but you can't rule him out. I mean, the guy is one of the greatest, American soccer players of all time, if not the greatest. So I want to thank everybody who's jumped on here on this live stream. If you haven't liked the video, make sure to like it right now. Make sure to comment for the algorithm. And yeah, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of cool content coming up. Remember, stay heavy.